Hey everyone, it's Tori and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, I am setting up the second half of my 2023 bullet journal. I've already made the first half of this setup in a different video, and I will have that video linked in the cards and down below if you haven't already checked it out. And if you haven't, I would highly recommend watching that video first and then coming back to this one. As you can see, I have a couple tracker spreads, I have my future log, and my key is back in my bullet journal as I'm doing weeklies in this bullet journal. And for this video, you're going to see a few more collections as well as my vision board, which I'm very excited to show you, so let's get started. In my first 2023 bullet journal setup video, I showed you a lot of Ohuhu markers, and I am going to be using the same ones today. If you are interested in getting Ohuhu markers for yourself, you can use code COFFEE10 for 10% off your order for the next 3 months. I'm also using some Sakura Pigma Micron fine liners and also these stickers from an Archer and Olive planner kit. And if you want to get 10% off your order at archerandolive.com, you can use code CMCG10. With all of those affiliate code plugging out of the way, we are hopping into my social media tracker. As you can see, I'm putting out these headings that I made on a brown paper bag. I used that darker brown as the main calligraphy and the lighter brown as the drop shadows on those paper bag headings. These 3 little squares are going to turn into the icons for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube in just a second. I made a social media tracker similar to this in my last bullet journal setup for 2022, except I only had Instagram and YouTube back then. I recently got my TikTok this spring. Each column for my 3 social medias are going to have 6 rectangles down, and this is to represent the 6 months that I am going to spend in this journal. On the first day and the 15th day of every single month, I'm going to write my follower or subscriber count on each social media platform. You might think that the first day makes sense, but the 15th day is a little bit random. I like to track my followers on the first day and the middle day of each month, because if I track it the first, middle, and last, the last is pretty much the first of the next month, so I only track the first and day 15. I hope that makes sense, and I'm sure not a lot of people who watch this video are going to be recreating a spread like this, because honestly, social media is a big part of my life because of my bullet journaling platform. And that's what's great about the bullet journal, is I can put things in that maybe not a lot of people would get in like a planner or something. I like to track my social media followers. It helps me track my growth, and so that's why I'm putting it in my bullet journal this year. As an added decoration to the spread, I decided to put some washi tape down the middle, and here I am trying to decide which Archer and Olive washi tape I wanted. I picked this brown one, but it was a little bit too thick for my liking, so I used my X-Acto knife to chop it down the middle and move that other one to the other side to give it more of a column-like effect, if that makes sense. And after adding just a couple stickers, we are moving on to my reading tracker for 2023. I'm adding some more of those paper bag headers to this spread, and this time I'm going to have my books read at the top and my to be read list at the bottom. For the past couple years, I've been turning my books read tracker into this bookshelf where I draw rectangles to represent all the books that I'm reading this year. For 2023, it's no different. It's going to be a bookshelf as well, except I'm making it a little bit smaller than I usually do, as I'm only going to be in this journal for 6 months, so I'm not going to need all the books that I needed last year for that tracker. So I trusted my gut a little bit for this one, and I used one of my green shape stencils to use that teeny tiny rectangle, and I didn't even pencil it in, guys. I just kind of rolled with it. And I don't think it looks perfect, obviously, since I didn't pencil anything in or plan anything out beforehand, but I kind of like the more hand-drawn effect that it gives it, and I also like how big this rectangle is so I can fit a title of a book if I need to on it. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do the same thing as I did last year, and when I was filling in my reading tracker last year, I included the titles of the books on the spine. Sometimes they didn't fit, but I kind of abbreviate it and I can still tell which book is which. As for those teeny tiny squares, the 4 that you see below the bookshelf, those mark the colors of my rating scale. So from left to right, I have a color representing 5 stars, 4.5, 4, and 3.5 stars. I didn't do anything below that because if I think that a book is not worth 3.5 stars, I don't finish it. So I just color in the spine based on my own rating of the book. I have a small TBR list at the bottom, and now we are moving on to more of like an entertainment spread. This 2-page spread is basically a place for me to put movies, shows, YouTube channels, and podcasts I want to watch or listen to over the course of 2023. I definitely think I should have made my shows one bigger and my podcast smaller because I watch a whole lot more shows than podcasts, but it is what it is. Also, I kept myself in struggling with all of this washi tape. I really wanted to do like a layering scrapbooky effect, but I am just not good at it. I don't know what it is. I really try to be like Tracy Tyler Revel and Mochi Bujo and do that scrapbook style. It just doesn't work out for me, so I ended up keeping it simple with just the paper bag headings and some lines and some stickers, and I called the spread a day. So I'm just finishing up on this collection spread, and I get this question a lot when I make spreads like this in my journal. This is not the movies, shows, YouTube channels, and podcasts I watch over the course of the year. It's the ones that people recommend to me or ones that I see that I'm thinking, hey, I might want to see that later on this year. They're just a place for me to list things that I want to see, not the things I do end up watching. And with that spread complete, we are moving on to another list style spread, which is a master to-do list for school and for my bullet journal. I'm breaking out these neutral tone washi, actually it's not washi, it's more like a notepad kind of thing from the Archer and Olive planner kit. I really liked this neutral gray tone, and I'm going to use it in the heading for my master to-do lists. I am a kindergarten teacher, and I am also a bullet journalist content creator person, I guess you could call it. And I always joke that I have 2 full-time jobs, so I'm going to need a master to-do list in my bullet journals from now on for both of these very taxing careers. I'm constantly lesson planning, I'm constantly making things for my kiddos at school and for teachers, so I really needed a space to write down everything I need to do for the second half of the school year. And also for my bullet journal content, I'm constantly making videos, making voiceovers, I'm taking pictures of things, I'm getting like sponsorships from people, so I also needed a space to write all of that down so I'm not forgetting anything. For the headers on top of those little strips of watercolor, I don't really know what to call them, but on the top I'm doing the calligraphy school and bujo in the same style that I was doing on those paper bag headings to keep it consistent. And then I just did a really simple border around both of these, and the vinyl stickers, I put them in the corner from the Archer and Olive planner kit that I unboxed, and that is this spread complete. I wanted to keep it really simple because I know I'm going to be filling these up a ton. I really love how clean and simple this spread turned out, and now we are moving on to my favorite spread to make every single year, and that is my vision board. I truly think this is my favorite vision board that I've ever made, and I have been making them since 2020. I think with all like the layering and the added words and all this kind of stuff, you'll see, but I think it turns out absolutely amazing. I started out with this big strip of paper bag to go across the top, and I was going to put my entire title of the 2023 vision board at the top. It didn't end up fitting, but it still was a great background choice. I found lots of quotes and pictures that I wanted to put on my vision board to represent my vision for 2023 on Google Images. Some of the pictures I found was this car, I really want to get a new car this year, this really beautiful apartment as I want to move out this year, a YouTube logo because I would love to keep going with that and keep growing. I am also turning 25 this year, so I found this really aesthetic picture of 25 balloons. And then I also found some words that were really speaking to me over the course of trying to find things for this vision board. Grow is my personal word of the year for this year, so I wanted that front and center. I also have independence, which kind of goes along with grow. I have proficient because I want to be proficient in every single teaching related evaluation, I guess you could say, this year. and also words like perseverance and support. Those are just on my mind as we're starting to think about 2023. So I wanted those words to be very, very highlighted in my vision board. And similar to last year, I printed these pictures out on sticker paper so it was easy for me to peel them off and stick them down. I printed out this really big yellow daisy kind of background, I guess you could call it, so I could rip it up and put it in the corners. And I really ended up loving how this looked with all the layered pictures and quotes and words on top. When I was trying to find pictures to work with this vision board aesthetic that I was trying to go for, I really wanted to go with like muted like pinks and lots of black and whites because they go with everything. Truly neutral tones is always a great idea, especially if you want something to be cohesive. And I would highly recommend, if you're making vision boards, to put everything down in place where you think you might want it, and then take a picture of it on a camera or your phone or your iPad, as I'm doing right here, so you don't forget where you put all the pictures when you're ripping off the sticker paper and sticking them down. While I am sticking everything down on my vision board, I want you to comment down below what your goals are for 2023. I also want to know if anybody else does vision boards in their journal every single year. I think it's a really great way to kind of put your goals into visuals. And I also love looking back at them from year to year. My first vision board was actually in 2020, and of course, my vision for that year did not turn out anything like I thought it would. And I've also been putting apartment pictures on my past now 3 vision boards. I've wanted to move out for a very long time, so let's see if it actually happens this year. But I think it's also important that when you're making goals, make them attainable. So it's kind of hard to make like goals to move out when there are other factors that are putting me off from moving out, and that includes like me trying to pay off my college loans, which fortunately I'm getting to do pretty quickly since I'm still living at home and I don't have that rent factor. But I guess what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to tell myself overall as well is that when you're making your vision board and when you're planning your goals for the next year, make goals big and make goals small. So when you're completing those smaller goals, you still have that sense of accomplishment, even though you're not getting your brand new car, you're not getting your brand new house this year. Like, that stuff comes in time. So remember to make goals attainable, make them small. And it's okay to have those big goals, but don't get mad at yourself if you don't get it this year. I was having a really hard time these past couple years, especially because of COVID and graduating in 2020, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, basically. And I feel like I've just been making goals that are not attainable and that are out of my control. And yes, I'm still making those goals, like moving out and getting a brand new car. Will that happen? Who knows? But I like putting things on my vision board that are more like motivating, and again, those smaller steps to reach your bigger goals. With my vision board complete, we are now moving on to the last spread of this setup, and that is my planning pages. My planning pages are a place to plan my monthly themes. So like this one in particular, I am doing for January, and I have also February through June already made in this journal. The small squares at the top are for my color palette of the month. The long rectangle in the center is where I'm going to plan out the font of my headers. And then the boxes at the bottom are for any doodles I plan on doing throughout the month, any washi tape swatches I need, and also a place to actually write the theme of my monthly setup. I actually got this planning page idea from Jashi Corinne back in the day, and she had a little bit of a different setup than me, but this one really works for my bullet journaling needs, so this is the one I am currently going with and have been going with for quite a while. I'm keeping the headings and everything very simple because this is going to get filled up with a lot of monthly color palettes and doodles and those kind of things. So I just have simple boxes made with my Micron fine liner. And then that gray highlight is one of my Ohuhu markers. It's the lightest gray in the 100 pack. And after this magical February just appeared, we are now moving on to my final flip through portion of today's video. If you made it to the end of this video, please comment a notebook emoji in your comment down below. That really means the world to me when you watch these videos all the way through. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Also, don't forget to check out my bullet journal Instagram at Creative Minds Coffee Grinds and my bullet journal TikTok, which is at Creative Mind Coffee Grinds without the S. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!